My friends, good afternoon. We're so glad you are here. We are at Toastmasters Bay to Bay, where we feature speakers from San Francisco, Silicon Valley, to Monterey Bay. Today, we're going to have two dynamic speakers and two powerful evaluators. At the end, we'll end with a club promotion with Articulators Club. The first speaker I'd like to present it to you is Catherine Gallardo. Catherine brings years of experience as a staffing specialist, and she'll be sharing with us that in a job search, sometimes the connection and community are the most important thing of it all. Catherine Gallardo, the questions nobody answers. The question nobody answers. Catherine Gallardo. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you. Okay. Have you ever stopped to think about how a person survives in the Bay Area when they don't speak English, or they don't know how to write a resume, or don't have the networking connections to help them to find a job? Imagine arriving in a new country where you don't know the language, you don't know how the hiring process starts, you don't know where to look for a job. But somehow you still have to pay for rent, feed your family, and keep moving forward. And for many of us here, finding a job starts with LinkedIn, Indeed, or asking people in our professional network. But what happens when people don't have all those resources, or they don't know how to use it? And I think about that often because I work in staffing. And I spend every week helping companies to find workers for hospitality positions. So part of my day is calling workers, sending text messages, reviewing applications, talk to people from different backgrounds. And something interesting happens during those conversations. A call starts with a job, but it becomes something else. For instance, I find myself, instead of asking people, where are you available to work next week? So I find myself asking, where are you hoping to find in your next role? How is everything going in your current job? Or why you don't have a reliable transportation? Why are you looking for a part-time instead of a full-time job? And people like to talk. They like to talk about themselves. They talk about their families, their goals. They talk about the struggle, the frustration. And as I listened, I find myself wondering, how can I help these people beyond just helping them to find the next shift? And for me, my challenge is, part of what I consider is my challenge is my time and the resources. And my time and resources are limited. But anyways, I try to help people. I try to answer most of the questions that they have. And what I see is most of the time they have the same questions. Is the pay rate fair? How can I move to this position to another position? What certification do I need to get to get this job? How can I write a resume if I don't have any experience yet? And sometimes I have the answers, and sometimes I don't. And I realize that somewhere, someone else does. Someone already have the experience. Someone already worked for that company. Someone already earned that certification. Someone already make that transition And the information exists, the people exist, the experience exists, but they are not connected. And I ask myself, if white-collar professionals have LinkedIn, have networking conferences, networking groups, mentors, who is helping the dishwasher? Who is helping the housekeeping? Who is helping the janitor? Who is helping the people who keep our cities running every day? And that question became the inspiration for something called Break Room. And Break Room is my community, or is a Facebook community for blue-collar workers. And here is not just a place to find jobs, it's a place to connect with other professionals in hospitality. It's a place to learn from each other. It's a place to show off their skills. And something that I learned from my experience is that life, sometimes opportunities are not equally distributed. And I have seen people who work incredibly hard, but they don't have access to the same information. They don't have access to the same connections or the same support systems. And that's why a community make a difference. And our community shortens the distance between where someone is today and where someone wants to be tomorrow. And Breakout Room right now is a small group, one member at a time, and that's fine. I started this group just because I started this idea just because I wanted to do my job. I wanted to fill shift, but I realized that this is something that makes sense for me and is powerful and inspired me to do my job every day. And people, and that's something that I want to share, is people not all the time need jobs. People need people need connection, and people need support. Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine, thank you for such a powerful speech. Can you tell us which club you belong to and how long have you been a member?
I'm part of a Work and Balance group, and I have been member right now, 7 months. 7 months ago, yes.
I want to ask you, for these 7 months, what is one important takeaway you have from your experience as a Toastmasters?
As a Toastmaster, okay, I think you need to be, you have to break your mental barriers and do the best to be the best version that you have. Sometimes when you join to this type of clubs, you feel like you are not enough, or you don't have the skills, or maybe some of the members speak better than you. But something that I have learned from Toastmasters is that communication is important in your career, and you just need to be yourself and have the mentality to break those barriers, mental barriers. And Toastmasters helped me to break those barriers.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for such an insightful takeaway from the club. Next, I'd like to introduce our first evaluator, Mei-Ying Forney. Mei-Ying recently completed her pathway, presentation mastery path. Yes. Such an incredible achievement. So Mei-Ying will be providing the evaluation for Catherine Gallardo. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Catherine, you deliver a great speech today. Very inspirational. As a first immigrant, you and I, and many people in the Bay Area, we have questions, but cannot find answers. Now you, through your personal experience, I assume, and now you study to say, hey, look, I can help other people. And you're such a great listener and communicator. And with those people that who are looking for jobs, who have questions but cannot find answers. In some of things that you said, that you cannot find answers yourself. So therefore, you study to looking for a break room where the community is. The break room that gives you the solution and give you the community. What I suggest next time, probably, besides that, then also during to delivery, engage in more of an audience, maybe give a little bit more of the clear lines, because you spoke a lot of them, a lot of ideas, but then I just have a hard time to catch up all of them at the same time. Probably maybe list it a little bit. So that would be more helpful. And to recap, I really love the break room, in which that for the Toastmaster expansion and for other jobs, I think a break room is just a great idea. And also your personal story that you deliver today, that give it is very, very powerful. So the personal story is golden. And I'm looking forward for your future stories.
Thank you so much, Mei. Mei, thank you so much for such an insightful evaluation. I absolutely agree. From your passion and desire to help people, you spun out of idea of the break room. I wanted to join a community like that. Like you said, people are the core of the business, right? People help people, people build people. Next, I wanted to introduce you to a video. Recently, our crew visited Articulators Toastmasters Club, and here is a video. Please enjoy.
When I joined Toastmasters, it was primarily to be a better communicator and a more confident public speaker.
Just figure out your basic needs. In Hindi, we have a saying.
That's why I came, and I immediately started improvement in these areas. So that is what makes Toastmasters important in my life.
So I remember the first time I had to give a speech. I was so nervous. I was pretty confident on the content, but it's just being nervous, standing in front of the crowd.
We are husband-wife. We founded the club in 2003.
Yeah, so back in 94, 95, I was involved in Toastmasters, and that helped me a lot. When I went to the first meeting, I realized this is a perfect spot for me to practice, learn, practice, and execute my public speaking skills. And not only that, enhance my leadership skills. And as a result, I got into entrepreneurship. I had the courage and confidence to go and do entrepreneurship.
Well, I am an aspiring lawyer. Public speaking is probably one of the most important skills you could learn.
There's one more fundamental difference between C3,
both as a lawyer and to be a great communicator outside of the law, just in interpersonal communication.
I used to be very shy, and I will not initiate the conversation. And now, after being in Toastmaster, I have a lot of friends. I'll go and introduce myself. So definitely it boosts your confidence.
It's just not public speaking. It's a lot of other skills you can get out of it. Leadership skills, being a table topic master, trying to organize the meeting, evaluator, being actively listening.
The people here are so good at giving you good feedback.
One gesture that a lot of people do, in myself, is doing the coconut gesture. So I say, try to stay away from this when you're up speaking.
On top of giving sharp feedback is being extremely supportive and positive in their feedback at the same time.
Of your questions gave us time to think about it, and you engage with the audience. Excellent job. You have a natural voice. It's a soothing one that people can listen to. It actually drives me crazy. I'm jealous.
Yeah, learn to give feedback and also receive feedback. Personally, I struggle with giving feedback. People are so welcoming, especially the Articulators Club. What are some tips and suggestions you would recommend to make me better based on the evaluation you provided? And they'll openly give that feedback.
Anyone listening, come and join the closest Toastmaster, preferably our club. It's an amazing place, you will realize.
Our next speaker is John Estrada. John brings here many years' experience, even several career pivots throughout his career to derive his framework on how to find his true life purpose that he wished he knew years ago. So today he'll be sharing that framework with all of us. John Estrada, 3 questions. 3 questions, John Estrada.
It is 2014. I spent the last 15 years creating innovative technologies that help to save lives. See, I created the technology that brought treatments to the sick, to the elderly, years faster than prior. I was on the top of the world, but suddenly, my innovations became a commodity, just something else. My only role left was to manage the commodities. I couldn't do that. The industry spoke. I am obsolete. Staring down the barrel of an identity crisis, I asked, what should I do next? I got it. I want to take on the education system. Then all of a sudden my mind started saying, you're not a teacher, you're not a doctor. Who are you to try to take on this? And it caused me to pause, to get stuck. If only I had a way forward to my destination. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 questions I wish I had back then. And I want to give them to you for your next situation, whether that's a layoff, a career change, or AI coming for you. Our first question, who should I become? You should answer that by saying, I am. If I were to take a step back, I would have said, I am a social entrepreneur. I am a creator. I am an innovator. That would have given me the energy and the boost and the new persona I could take on moving forward. But instead, I held on to my old identity. Innovator helped, but not employee, not rule taker, rule breaker, and someone who works in big companies. That didn't work. So I implore you, work with I am, not today, but your future identity. Write it down. Get it out of your head on a piece of paper. That's the first step. Question number 2, why is it important to me? I wish I had that back then, because I thought I just really wanted to make a change for education, improve it so people get thrown out of the system like I did. That wasn't enough. See, I had to create teams of expert teachers, so I thought. I did it once and it was hard. I did it twice. It was incredibly difficult. And when I had to do it the 3rd time, I quit. Why? My why wasn't clear. My why wasn't strong enough. So when you write down why is it important to you, come up with multiple reasons why. Because that will give you the energy, the juice, when things break down, when things go wrong, it'll push you through when everybody, including me, quit. So our third question that we're going to answer today is all about action. What is one small win that I can create today that'll take me closer to that identity I've created? See, I had a list, the laundry list, what everybody does, the laundry list of to-dos. I have to create the research, I have to go this, I have to do this. I got so overwhelmed, I did nothing for 6 months. Instead, what I should have done was said, today, my win is to do some research, step forward. I could actually talk to a teacher, step forward. And all of a sudden, 2 steps forward, new world. You could create new identities, new reason why, is because you're different changes. You're different from you were 2 days ago. And then you create the celebration for the win. You move forward again and again and again. Imagine if I would have done that. I would have had 120 steps forward instead of being stuck. That is why I want you to ask that third question, so you don't get stuck. You don't get overwhelmed. Take 1 step at a time. So with these 3 questions in mind, who do I want to become? Why is it important to me? And what is one small win that you could create today? No matter if you get laid off, or you have to do a career change, or AI is coming for you. You have the tool set to do it. No matter what is happening around you, these 3 questions, you can create your destiny.
John, thank you so much for such insightful questions. I want to ask you, what gave you that bright idea to come up with 3 questions? I know you went through several pivots.
Yes, I went from career change number 7. Yes, I'm that old. I went through career change number 7 and realized I was just repeating the same things over and over again. So I learned from my mentors, Tony Robbins, and others that helped me to ask the right questions and frame it the right way.
So it's very important to have mentors.
Very much so.
Thank you so much, John Estrada, for such insightful questions.
Thank you.
Now we heard from John, what are the 3 questions we should ask ourselves if we ever find ourselves in that situation? Here to evaluate John is Raji Bandanapudi. Raji is an electrical engineer at a high-tech company, and as we know, talented Raji is also our past immediate district director. Here to evaluate John is Raji.
Thank you so much, John, for getting us all thinking about when we are stuck in a situation, wanting a change, what are probably the 3 most important things we should consider. Why is it important to us? What is the why? And what small action that we can do today in order to pursue that change or that adversity. I think your speech has the great structure, and I'm going to structure my evaluation similarly and tell you some things that I really liked about your speech and something to keep in mind so you can make your speech even better. So things that I liked about your speech, like the way I mentioned, is you had a very clear structure. From the moment you started speaking, you started with a date, you drew all the audience in, and we all wanted to know what your story is. And you walked us through the process. Why did you start asking yourself these 3 key questions as you went through your journey? You illustrated them well. You gave us some sample questions we could ask ourselves in lieu of these 3 categories. Something to keep in mind is you intrigued us that you were stuck in your job, but we would want to know how now, decoding the pathway to these 3 questions, how did your story change? What happened? What is John doing right now I want to know more. Having said that, I felt it was a very insightful speech, very timely because the world around us is changing. So it is timely for us to think about what matters to us and how we see ourselves in the future. So I felt it was a very well thought out speech. And I'm looking forward to a lot more speeches from you, John, and knowing your story a lot more. Thank you so much.
Raji, thank you so much for such an insightful evaluation. As we know, the job search journey can be kind of challenging, and it's definitely great to have a framework like what John has. And I also appreciate Catherine's speech so much. It's about creating this community for blue-collar workers who come in here and then brainstorm and create a space for them. To be frank, I have been in a journey myself as well. It is not easy. In my speech, during my area contest, I talk about how 3 things has really helped me on top of what Catherine proposed and on top of what John proposed. I wish I had listened to your speech then. Then I could structure my framework a little bit better. I joined a job search group called Never Search Alone, and it had helped me a lot. As you know, this journey is difficult and challenging. You need somebody. I'm pretty lucky that I have my better half here, and friends, Anna, Raji, all of you guys here with me. And the second thing I did was Anna advised me to join this Toastmasters club to practice my interview skills. Super important. Know your origin story. Be confident. And the third thing is I continue to volunteer because even if I don't have a job title, I can still provide value. Recently, I finished the youth leadership program with Daniel and other mentors. And just engage with those young minds, it's just such a rewarding experience for me. Being a Toastmaster, even though I didn't have the opportunity to be an educator myself, but I can still make such an impact for these students. So to wrap it up, I appreciate Catherine for the speech, the questions nobody answers, and John, 3 questions to structure your job search frame. And tonight, we couldn't have done this with all of you, the volunteers, the organizers, and all the talents are up here. And so I want to close the night to let you know that we're so glad you are here just to share the space with you. As we know, d101tm.org is a place to go. d101tm.org. And thank you for being here tonight. Thank you all.